Guys, I was just fixing to read Tooth on the Loose. It's by Linda Jennings and Gwyneth Williamson. Titus the goat ate everything. He ate carrots and cabbages. He ate dandelions and dock leaves, and he ate prickly, thickly thistles. He even ate Farmer Harry's pants and vest off the washing line. Titus absolutely loved eating until one day he woke up with a terrible pain. He didn't want to eat his breakfast. He didn't want to munch and crunch on apples in the orchard. He wasn't even tempted to nibble on Mrs. Harry's nightdress. Titus felt as miserable as miserable as a goat with a toothache. He was a very grouchy, grumbly goat indeed. "That's a troublesome tooth," said Derry the donkey. "Open your mouth, and I'll pull it out with my big, strong teeth." Titus shook his horns from his tip of his tail. No thanks," he bleated as he ran and grouched and grumbled. Until he reached the farmyard. "That's a troublesome tooth," said Sadie the hen. "Open your mouth and I'll pick it out with my nice sharp beak." Titus shivered with all four hoofs. No thanks," he cried. Titus ran and he ran, and he grouched and he grumbled. Until he reached the barn. "That's a troublesome tooth," said Molly the cat. "Open your mouth and I'll scratch it out with my long shiny claws." Titus trembled from his white beard to his furry bottom. No thanks," he shouted. Titus ran and he grouched and he grumbled. Poor Titus. Until he reached the meadow. "That's a troublesome tooth," said Basil the bull. "Open your mouth and I'll butt it out with my long curly horns." Titus's teeth chattered and rattled, even the bad one. No thanks," he sobbed. Titus ran and he grouched and he grumbled. Until he reached the duck pond. "That's a troublesome tooth, quack, quack," Daphne the duck said. "Open your mouth and I'll tuck it out with some duckweed, quack, quack." Titus shook so much he nearly fell into the water. No thanks," he yelled. Titus ran and he grouched and he grumbled. Until he found himself right back in the farmyard again. "Don't worry," said Sadie the hen. "Farmer Harry will get rid of that troublesome tooth for you. He's called the vet." "The vet!" shouted Titus. He quivered and he shivered and he trembled and he shook. His teeth rattled and chattered, even that bad one. "No way, I don't want the vet, no way." Titus ran and he grouched and he grumbled until Titus bashed his head against the fence. Crash! That troublesome tooth fell out at last. Y'all see it flying across the barnyard? And there he had his troublesome tooth right there in his little hoof. So how many of you have had a troublesome tooth? I know in class you have a tooth that's loose and it just drives you crazy and you can't eat and you just want to pull it out so bad and it's bothering you. So if you would love to write me a story about a time that you had a loose tooth and the things you couldn't eat and how it bothered you, and draw me a picture about that story, that would be awesome. I would love to read your stories. Thanks for reading with us today.